Imagine this. You wake up tomorrow, but it's not 2025. It's December 1865. You're standing on a foggy London street, gas lamps flickering, the smell of horse-drawn carriages heavy in the air. But here's the twist. You're not a proper Victorian lady or gentleman. You're moving through society's shadows, playing a game where one wrong move means scandal, exile, or even ruin. Tonight, you're not just learning history. You're living it, stepping into the silk-lined shoes of a Victorian courtesan. A world where influence is currency, where secrets are power, and survival depends on more than beauty. It depends on strategy. Before we dive in, hit subscribe and join our time-traveling community. If you can handle Victorian high society, trust me, you can handle clicking a button. 1. The cost of one wrong move in 1865. London. In Victorian London, reputation wasn't just important, it was survival. One wrong move could end everything. Arrive at the wrong house at the wrong hour? You're branded reckless. Laugh too loudly at the theater? You're vulgar. Even the colors you wore mattered. Purple silk could whisper sophistication. A faded hem could scream desperation. For courtesans, this was a constant tightrope. Unlike noblewomen, they had no titles or legal safety nets. Their entire future rested on managing perception. Think of it as living inside a 24/7 reputation economy. Take Catherine Walters. Skittles. She turned scandal into spectacle. When gossips whispered about her lovers, she didn't hide. Instead, she staged carefully timed rides through Hyde Park, letting all of London see her poise and elegance. Rumor turned into admiration, but others, less savvy, fell into the abyss of obscurity after one poorly handled scandal. Modern parallel? Today, one misstep on social media can tank a career. But just like then, the key isn't perfection, it's control. Not hiding from the narrative, but reshaping it. Lesson? Don't fear mistakes. Fear silence. A mistake addressed with strategy can turn into your most powerful rebrand. And that brings us to the next battlefield, the hierarchy of power you're trying to climb. 2. From streets to salons, the brutal hierarchy of courtesans. In 1865, the world of courtesans was brutally stratified. At the bottom were streetwalkers, often nameless, voiceless, and disposable. Above them were the kept women, supported by a single benefactor, but with little freedom. And at the top, the salon queens, women who entertained dukes, generals, even princes, commanding wealth and influence that rivaled titled aristocrats. How did one climb this ladder? Not through beauty alone. It was strategy. Consider Harriette Wilson. She wasn't the most beautiful, but she was unforgettable. She transformed salons into arenas of influence where witty remarks could shift alliances. Every laugh, every shared glance was currency. Here's the modern comparison. Imagine networking, events, LinkedIn power lunches, and private WhatsApp groups all rolled into one. Except the entire economy was driven by discretion, charm, and social codes. One wrong alliance could pull you down. One right one could vault you to the top. And here's the catch. Mistakes weren't always made in public. Sometimes it was the silent choices, like who you didn't speak to, that shaped your fate. Lesson? Influence isn't about being everywhere. It's about being exactly where you need to be, with exactly the right people. But once inside those golden rooms, another game began. Money. 3. Financial chess. Playing the money game in the shadows. For courtesans, money was never just about luxury. It was about survival and leverage. A necklace wasn't just decoration. It was collateral. A townhouse wasn't just shelter. It was an anchor of independence. Every transaction was a calculated move on a financial chessboard. The sharpest women understood this. They didn't simply accept gifts. They negotiated terms. Some secured annuities, guaranteed payments for years. Others insisted on property deeds in their names, shielding them from sudden abandonment. Marie Duplessis mastered this art. She cataloged her gifts meticulously, ensuring nothing could be denied later. Those jewels and silks weren't just tokens of affection. They were receipts, investments, and bargaining chips. Modern lens? Think of it like the difference between burning through startup funding and building a sustainable business. Many influencers today chase one-off sponsorships. The smartest? They build equity, diversify income, and turn fleeting fame into lasting wealth. Mistake many courtesans made, living only for the present. When beauty faded and patrons moved on, they were left destitute. Lesson? Wealth without foresight is sand through fingers. Protect it, grow it, and design it to last longer than the moment. And longevity brings us to the next battlefield, outlasting time itself. 4. Longevity and legacy. Beating time in a world obsessed with youth Victorian society was cruel to women who aged. Youth was worshipped. Wrinkles whispered irrelevance. But some courtesans defied time, not by denying it, but by reinventing themselves. They shifted from seduction to strategy, from beauty to intellect, from being muses to becoming hosts, connectors, patrons. Take Ninon de L'Enclos, though from earlier France. Her charm was undeniable in youth, but her true legacy came later, when her salons became the heart of Parisian intellectual life. Writers, philosophers, and musicians sought her company for her wit, not her looks. Victorian courtesans borrowed this playbook. They turned salons into power centers, building communities that kept them relevant long after younger faces had replaced them in drawing rooms. Modern reflection? It's the career pivot. The influencer who becomes an entrepreneur. The actress who reinvents as a producer. The professional who trades. The spotlight for the seat at the table. Mistake many made? Refusing to adapt. Clinging to youth until society casts them aside. Lesson? Reinvention is the secret to immortality. Looks fade, but ideas and networks endure. Which is why the smartest courtesans made sure their legacies were immortalized in print. 5. Publishing power and the ultimate exit strategy. For those who survived the climb, the final move was control. Control of their own story. Harriette Wilson proved this in 1825 with her memoirs. She didn't just write a book, she shook an empire. Her tell-all threatened to expose the secrets of dukes and lords. Her line, "Pay and you will be left out," was less literature, more blackmail. But it worked. She rewrote the rules of leverage. Publishing was more than scandal. It was legacy. It was how women with no official rights etched themselves into history. It gave them immortality. Modern mirror? Think of whistleblowers, journalists, or celebrities releasing memoirs that reclaim their narrative. From Monica Lewinsky to Prince Harry, the tactic is timeless. Own your story before someone else does. Mistakes some made? Publishing too early, burning bridges, and losing networks that could have sustained them. The key was timing. Waiting until they had nothing left to lose. Lesson? Legacy isn't just about what you achieve. It's about what you leave behind. Write your own story, or risk becoming a footnote in someone else's. And with that, we step back into the present, where these lessons are still as sharp as ever. You've just survived a night in 1865 London. You've walked the fine line between scandal and survival, wealth and ruin. And you've learned that the greatest strategy wasn't seduction, it was self-mastery. The truth? These lessons aren't trapped in the past. Whether you're building a brand today, negotiating in business, or shaping your own future, power still lives in the same places. Reputation, alliances, money, reinvention, and storytelling. If this time-traveling journey inspired you, hit subscribe and join our community of modern thinkers learning history's hidden strategies. Where should we go next? Ancient Egypt's temples? Versailles' secret salons? The hidden codes of the samurai? Drop your suggestion in the comments, because the next destination might just be yours.